What's up, guys? We're about to do the ultimate glasses frame haul at Optical Services, and we're checking out all the colorful frames that they stock. So let's get into it. This green, look at that green on the side. I mean, when you put it on, it says, I'm ready to party. I'm ready to have a good time. I'm ready for a night out. This one, dark green frame, metal frames, kind of looks like I work in a doctor's office, or probably a librarian, or probably just a hot mama. Teal brown with a speck of gold and a little bit of blue. These frames are saying, I work in the bank. I can handle your money. This one, pastel colors with a little bit of animal print. This one is saying, I'm sexy and I know it. And these ones, black with very sharp edges. Look at those, look at that. Parlez-vous français? Oui, oui, mon chéri. And finally, this one, purple. I mean, sometimes it kind of looks a little bit of brown, sharp edges, that has the metal frame at the top, plastic in the rest. And let me tell you, when the light catches this one, it says you're a star. And that's it, guys, for our haul at Optical Services. If you liked any of these frames, please check them out, located on Houseborough Street in Rosal. Follow on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, bye. I just discovered the Redis bleaching powder available at Fresh Market HPC, and I'm about to test it to see if I get results that I love. I was shocked, first of all, at how much that came in the package. I mean, the bottle was well plain. I got to mix it with the developer and applied it to my dark, natural roots all over. Sometimes I would miss a spot and I would have to get someone to guide me, but today I was on my own. I covered my head with a plastic bag, I set the timer, and I was surprised at how much it lifted in such a short space of time. So finally, I rinsed off my shampoo using the Redis shampoo with keratin, and this is how it looked after. I did this process all over again the very next day, and this time after shampooing, I used the Redis hair mask. It has deep conditioning properties. It leaves your hair feeling soft to the texture. I did miss a few spots, but the results were very good.
Hello! Bonsoir, bonsoir. Good evening. Welcome. It's morning somewhere, right? It must be morning somewhere. Welcome, guys. Welcome, one and all. Thank you very much for joining. Heads up, Howie. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for another show? I'm ready. Our guest is ready. For some reason, we just can't help but call her Travel with Clem. It's like that's her full name, right? Travel with Clem. I remember seeing her in place. I'm like, Travel with Clem. We have Travel with Clem. Clementine Affana is going to be joining us in just a little bit. I'm so excited. But let me tell all you have me fashy. All you have me vexed. Like I am upset. Like, okay, so last week we had Anika Bellot on the show, a very popular show, and all you just wasn't tagging people. I don't know why y'all were not tagging people to win. All you didn't want my United Bennington Colors perfume that I was giving away. Zabatevle. I will keep it there. I will keep every single one of them because people were not tagging folks, and I just want to encourage you guys. As soon as you come on, make sure you tag a friend, but tag as many friends as you can because we're giving away stuff. That's what we do on the show. We give away products. And today, I keep in my perfume. Let me tell you, I keep in my perfume. Let me show all you what I had. So we were giving away this last week, but no one won it. So I keep in it for myself. Worth valued at $105. I will keep it for myself. I guess Mila and I want to smell like pink raspberry. But today I am going to be giving away body splashes. I know a lot of you guys like body, not body splashes, I just say body sprays. So we have the red one, natural cologne, the Caribbean smell. That's the red one. So you're gonna be getting a duo. Let me just, I don't know why I put that so low, but you're gonna be getting this one and the red one, um, body splash. So you're gonna be getting these two. That's what I'm going to be giving away today. Of course, all you got to do is tag as many people under the live, a chance to win, but you got to tag them in one post, okay? So tag 10 friends in one post and get them on the live, and you could be walking away with these. I mean, everybody likes to smell good. Let me tell you something. The sun is getting hot in Dominica, right? The sun is getting very hot. You do not want to be caught smelling poor. So make sure you tag as many people as you can for your chance to win this duo. That's for my red one. So that's what we're giving away today. I keep in this. If y'all want me to give it away, I might reconsider it next week. But I'm keeping it for now because nobody won last week, and I'm hoping that someone will win this week. It's another week. I mean, we're so grateful to be here. First thing, I just want to extend my sincere condolences to the family and friends of Elias Dupuy, Elias O. Dupuy. Elias was somebody that I considered a dear friend. He's somebody that I knew for quite a few years. Actually, my very first professional shoot, because all you know I like to take portrait. All you know I like my photo shoots. My very first shoot, Elias was the one who did it. My very first shoot as a media personality, Elias was the one who did it. We stayed in touch up to a week and a half ago. We spoke, and his sudden passing has definitely left a really deep gap in Dominica. So my condolences goes out to his wife, his mom, his brother, his entire home circle, his entire family, his stepson. My condolences goes out to you all. I'm so sorry for the sudden death, sudden passing of your loved one, Elias. I know a lot of folks are mourning his death. He definitely played a huge role in Dominica. He was not only a photographer, he was a videographer. He was part of the, I believe he was part of the electoral reform office, I believe that's, or electoral office. He was part of the electoral office, so he was also part of Invest Dominica. When we worked together, we worked on the A team. We worked together when he worked with Digicel. We also had a radio show together called Sunny Side Up. It's definitely a loss. It's definitely a huge loss, and we are feeling the impact of it. And my condolences goes out to his family and friends. Okay, so I see a lot of folks tagging folks. You're tagging folks. You're tagging. I see y'all. Let me tell you. I have a friend. You thought you win, Tammy? You tag 2 people and you think you're going to win? No, you have to tag plenty people on one tag for an opportunity to win these 2 wonderful red one body splash. I mean, those smell really good, and they smell very nice. And it's getting hot. That's all I can say. It's getting hot. You want to have your body splash. You want to walk around with it, eh? All right. We're getting ready for the show. We're going to start off the show. We have travel with Clementine Affana. I'm tempted to say Clementine. I don't know why. Clementine is the fruit. Clementine, I guess, is her name, right? We're getting ready. I just want to big up everyone who played a part in getting this organized. Big up to Samaj, my entire team, Annika, and the rest of the crew. Thank you very much, guys, for your support and for continuing to push this together. I also want to say thank you very much to Digicel, the sponsor for this show. Big up to Digicel. If you've not switched, you gotta make that switch today. They're offering so many deals. As a matter of fact, if you shared your Easter video and tagged Digicel Dominica, you had an opportunity to win um, free data and win other good stuff, right? So if you had compilations of your weekend last weekend, I know it was Easter weekend. A lot of folks who celebrate Easter celebrated last weekend. And if you did, tag your photos to Digicel Dominica and get a chance to win free data. They're offering other free stuff. So just follow Digicel on Facebook, follow them on Instagram. And if you have not made the switch, what are you waiting for? The only place to be better is with Digicel. That is it. Period. All right. Alrighty. We're getting ready for the show. We're getting ready for the show. Yes, thank you guys for joining in. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining in and for tagging all of the folks that you've been tagging. One person is going to win. One person, only one winner we have this week. Only one winner we have this week, right? Tag every single person who's your friend and your family. We're going to start off the show. All right, so ready to make my introduction to Clementine Affana. So a couple years ago, um, I heard about these two sisters, these two African sisters who came from Cameroon and who just taken Dominica by storm. Um, both, both, um, both were actually students at the time. They were in medical school, and they have both. I mean, it's very rare that you find this where two people, leave their home and really know no one. I don't think they knew anybody in Dominica when they came, and they arrived and they became part of the Dominic. They really integrated into the Dominican society, and there was Marie Claire, of course. We all know Marie Claire, not Marie Claire, Marie Pascal Afana. So MC, yes. So there was her, and that's one of the sisters, and the other sister is Clem, or Clementine Affana, and she is also a doctor. She is an entrepreneur. She is a travel. An explorer, I should call her a guru, and a guru explorer, and she does all of these different things. And we love following her blogs. We love catching up when she shares her travel journeys. She's traveled all across Dominica and traveled abroad. And I'm so excited to bring her on the show for the very, very first time. So I want to give it up and welcome our guest today. Hello.
Hi,
How are
I'm so
you?
excited.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here, Jael, with you and your amazing audience. And just so you know, I was also in the comments tagging people. So I hope that I get to win. I don't know if I can win tonight, but I hope that I get to win.
My God, to qualify to win. I agree with you. I agree with you. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be able to share this platform with you and share with your audience. So thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start because you have like such a huge portfolio. Like there's so
Yes.
many things about you. But I first of all want to start off. Can you share with us a little bit about where you came from, and
Okay.
how did you? Because you're not in Dominica currently, but how did you get to Dominica? What was the reason behind coming
Yeah.
to Dominica? Because
Yeah.
this is where we really saw you blossom into the person
Mhm.
you are today. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes. So, in the introduction, you said that I'm here with my sister. We are from Cameroon, which is a country in Central Africa. It's right close to Nigeria. So, if you know Nigeria, you can literally drive from Nigeria to come to my country, right? So we share a piece of land, and so we grew up there. I actually grew up speaking. We grew up speaking French, and we learned English at school. But there's a time in like high school where you have to decide what you want to do in university, right? And I think everybody kind of like goes through that. So we wanted to be doctors, like our parents. We were not forced or anything like that, but it's a good thing that we're actually inspired to want to be doctors. So my mom asked us to look for medical schools around the world where we wanted to go, and she always put in our mind that whatever you want to achieve, it's possible. Like, don't think that is impossible, but think about it being possible for you. So around that time, we just before we finished fifth form, I think we were looking for medical schools like around the world as well. Like we look for the USA, we look in Canada, we look in Europe. But the thing, Jael, is that a lot of people from Africa, especially French-speaking Africa, they tend to go to French-speaking countries as well. But my mom wanted us to really be very versatile in English. Like you hear me speak now, I wasn't like that before, and it's just because she knew that it would open up more opportunities, right? So we just kind of like crossed out the whole Europe out. We considered the US, but we didn't get admission there. We considered Canada, we got admission there, but it had like very strict requirements in terms of like you being able to actually go there for medical school. And then we said, you know what, why not the islands? Because we were really like looking for all around the world. And then we found this island called Dominica, and we were like, is this Dominican Republic? And then we were like, no, it's not Dominican Republic. So we did some research. We saw the school. The school seemed cool. It seemed like it had what we wanted in a medical program. We compared it with all the other programs that we were looking from other countries. And we decided that, you know what, why not try this? Now, granted, nobody from our country had ever, well, nobody from our family had ever been to an island before. And we didn't really know what to expect coming to an island. So because we were together, we knew that it would be an adventure. But just to let you know, many years later, we didn't know how much of an adventure it would be. And you know,
it has definitely been an adventure. I mean, one time I heard you were singing. One time, and it's funny because I never knew you guys personally, but I always heard about you guys because you are one of the migrants I can say who really integrated into the Dominican community, and you became Dominicans. Like if somebody didn't know, like they would be like, what they're not Dominicans.
Exactly.
You guys have definitely
Exactly.
integrated very
Yeah.
nicely. Can you tell me a little bit about life growing what was life like growing up in Cameroon? Because sometimes I'm asking you this because a lot of times people, especially people outside of the continent, think
Mm-hmm.
that everybody is running around without shoes, don't have any money, don't have this, living in mud huts and all of that. Can you share with us what was life like growing up in Cameroon?
Yeah, actually, I can actually give you like two parts of this. You know, and you know, like every part of our story is kind of like, you know, like it builds up to be who we are, right? So, we grew up in a very happy family. Actually, we grew up in a nuclear family where it's like father, mother, and children. And we had like really happy households. My parents were making like good money and stuff until they split up. So we had like princess treatment. And actually recently I was talking to my mom about that, and she was kind of like giving us a little bit more about what we were before, how we were before, like, you know, life before they split up for different reasons. So we had like really a good life. We didn't lack anything. We were like in really good schools. We had everything that we wanted as children. But then when my parents split up, we moved in with our grandmother, and that was the phase of childhood part two. You know, we had started part one, but that was part two where we had to kind of like develop a different side of ourselves. So there we grew up with our siblings. That was now the extended family vibe that we had, that a lot of people know in the Caribbean. A lot of people were like in Africa have as well. So we grew up there with our cousins, our uncles, our aunties, while mom and the uncles were going to work. Then we would like our granny will take care of us and everything. So okay. I thought I kind of like lost you for a minute, but
No,
okay.
you're there. You're there still. We're still there. We're
Oh,
still there.
okay, all right. So we grew up in that kind of like extended family vibe. And every morning before going to school, we had to go and buy bread. You see, like how people go and buy bread at Suki. We had to go and buy bread at a specific time because the line was so long, and you had to make sure that you had bread for 15 people, because back then it was like 15 of us children in the house. Yeah, 15 people. So we had to take turns to go and buy bread, right? And our granny would like make like what you guys call here kakoti. We'll make our version of kakoti for the morning. She will prepare our lunch and everything, and then we go to school. And then in the afternoon, we have to like come back, cook dinner and stuff like that. Around the summer holidays, we used to spend them with our granny because we were living with her, and sometimes cousins and like distant cousins will like come and spend the summer holidays with us. So we will have like every morning we go to church, like even on summer holidays, Jael, every morning. So when you see us potole glaze like that, because even during summer vacation is church, you cannot start you cannot start your play day without going to church. So every morning, 6 a.m., we used to go to the 6 a.m. mass. I mean, that mass was shorter than the Sunday morning. So we go to church, then we come back, we make breakfast. Then then we can like do our different household work, and then you can play. And then on Saturdays we go to the garden, pick things, and like the ladies will help to cook, the guys will help to clean, and then like eat lunch, and then we'll be dismissed to go and play. So growing up, even though we had like those different phases of our childhood, I think it helped me personally to develop different aspects of myself. There was like the soft person, like the soft era, but there was also the era where I had to like really toughen up, and just kind of like come out from the princess mentality and be like, you know what, you actually need to fend for yourself, because when you're growing up with a lot of people, you know, you need to like also like they say battle,
Bataille.
yes, for you to be seen. So yeah, that's what it was like growing up in Cameroon. Really extended family, family vibes, a lot of unity, but also a lot of like fighting between siblings. But if there's one thing that we always had, was like we never lacked anything. From the time we were living in abundance to the time when even like the income decreased, we always like learned to share and like learn to make with what we have. So and definitely we were not barefoot, like we had shoes, and like we were going to schools dressed and stuff like that.
We want to disrupt that stereotype, because
yes, exactly.
a lot of times we don't realize that life in Africa is very similar to life in Dominica, as you rightfully just expressed. What was it like though, leaving your mom and all of this family, and you and your sister? I mean, I've spoken to Mary Pascal before, so I kind of get a sense of how it was like, for her. But what was it like for you, leaving your entire home circle? And you didn't go to Nigeria, you didn't go to the UK, you went across the Atlantic, across all the way in a small island of the Caribbean. First of all, were they even like? Because I know sometimes when people say it, or they live in Africa and they go to the Caribbean, they're looking to see the island, where are they going, because it's so small. Were they sure that they knew where they were sending you guys?
Girl, that's a very good question, because everybody actually thought that my mom was crazy. Like they were like, why are you sending the girls? First of all, why are you sending the girls? And why are you sending the girls so far away? Like, why, if you really wanted to send them somewhere, why didn't you send them to like Portsmouth, like just to tell you like somewhere else in the country, or why didn't you send them to like France, which is like close by? So it was a really crazy decision, but I think it was also a decision rooted in faith, right? So in terms of if we knew where we were going, so Jael, would you believe me if I told you that we actually had to find our flight ourselves? Like we had to go on the computer, we had to make the route, the map, because travel agencies were not finding Dominica. Like we literally that was back then when people were going to travel agencies to book their flights. That's like long ago, like not so long ago, like long ago. And so they were like, this country don't exist. And then we tell them that yes, it exists. We saw it on the map. We are going to school there. And they're like on the computer, no, I'm not seeing it in my map. It doesn't exist. So we went through that so many. I'm telling you, so many.
We
times.
don't exist. Oh,
yeah, exactly. You don't exist though. So many times that we had to literally make the itinerary ourselves. So we are the one who made the itinerary for ourselves. Like, okay, for us to leave Cameroon, we need to go to South Africa, then we need to go to Brazil, then Panama, then Dominica. We had to like find the stopovers, because no travel agency wanted to kind of like take on that risk, because it wasn't a common route, right? It wasn't like going to France or going to the UK or going to the US. So so they were like, So to go back to your question, they were like, they didn't know that place existed. But again, here we are.
you guys made it. You came to Dominica. What was it like when you got into Dominica and you you landed? I mean, obviously you landed in Little Melvin Hall. So you probably was, and then to come into Roseau, you had that hour long drive almost. What was it like getting into Dominica on your very first
very true. Jael, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be honest with you and with your Kako Tea fans, it was actually disappointing. And if you see me, if you see me rooting, that's why when you see me rooting hard for Dominica like that, this has to come from my heart. And let me tell you why it was disappointing. When you come out of your country, right, and you're like, I'm going overseas, there's this thing about overseas. Overseas has to be like big buildings. It has to be, like skyscrapers. right?
Bougie, glass ceilings.
Everybody thinking New York and Manhattan, Toronto. That's what they think about overseas. So when I was coming out of my house, I'm on my packing my bags and saying I'm going overseas. People were waiting already for me to post to show the overseas I was going. So when I landed in Dominica, I was like, so I was like, okay, maybe there's more to it. Literally, as we were driving from the airport, I was literally telling myself, maybe there's more to it. I'm waiting to see what is more. Like maybe we're just driving this road and there's more. And then we landed in Roseau, and I was like, my heart was telling me that no, there's not more. But I was
That
still
is
like,
it, oh.
I was like, is that it? Like, and honestly, like, I just want to be genuine and honest with the people because, and I've shared that my close friends know this. I felt like, and I felt disappointed because I felt like if my mom comes here and then she's like, this is where I send my girls, I don't want her to feel disappointed. I don't want her to feel like she wasted, because every parent, when they send their child overseas, they are thinking that they are sending their child somewhere better than their home country, better. But so that was like that disappointment because it wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't what I had pictured. It was literally like Instagram versus reality, and I was like, this reality is just not giving, but 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 I can tell you
This
now,
reality was serving trees.
it was
Plenty bush.
yeah, it was, and that's the thing, Jael. It was so green. I was like, why is it so green? Like it was just green, green, green. I was like, I want to see building, 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 and skyscraper. I want to pose in front of buildings. And why is this with all this green, green, green? I see this in Africa already. What is this? But it's so funny because Jael, last year, my mom came to Dominica for the very first time, and one of my things was like after having fallen in love with Dominica so much and really embracing the island for what it is, and really just do it like being like just really loving Dominica. My prayer was that I hope that she falls in love with this island as much as I did, and as much as the people here are, like so loving and everything. So when she came, I was literally low key, like they say in Dominica, I was marking her, from that ride to the airport. That ride to the airport.
Yes,
I was
watching
watching
her face.
Yes, like boy, I hope she doesn't think that this is a little village. I hope she doesn't think they had already said so many good things about Dominica. So she came and I was watching her, and Jael, she was taking in the air, she was taking in the nature. I was like, okay, I think we are kind of winning here. And then after that she told me, I really love this island because the air is so pure, the nature is so pure, and this is one of the most beautiful places where I have been. So
Wow.
yeah, so
That
I
is
think
so beautiful. Clem, I want to know, when did that change for you though? Because
yeah.
I know people come, especially with all of these expectations, right? You
Mhm.
came to Dominica with all of these expectations, obviously expecting to finish and do your degree in medicine, as well
Mhm.
as all of these expectations to send photos or to post photos so all your 15 cousins and siblings can see,
Girl. Mhm.
you're living la vida loca.
Yes.
But that was not going to be your reality. When
It-
did because some people experience this, right? And
mhm.
it stays in their head and they're like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do my time and get the hell out of here. I'm going to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yes.
But that was not your reality. That changed
Mhm.
for you. When did that change happen? When did you start embracing and can you walk us through how you were able to embrace Dominica?
Definitely. So that's where the plot twist happened, right? So we were in medical school. We started our first year of medical school. We only had like friends from like Africa, because most of like the school where we went, also university, we have like people from Africa, people from India, and people from Canada and the US as well. But we were kind of like just clinging to the people that were more familiar with to us, right? Then
Mhm.
one of the things that really helped us to be integrated early on in Dominica was through church, and I will always give kudos to our church. The Holy Spirit Chapel in Louvier. The church community felt like, it's like the women knew that these are two young girls who are here. Let's take care of them. Let's nurture them. Now, being involved in church helped us to be grounded in a way, and we started to meet our like youth group, like the young people within the church, right? So we started to go to things like youth rally, like kind of like try to integrate ourselves. It wasn't really easy because back then our English wasn't also all that, and it was very difficult to not just speak English but also to speak English with a Dominican accent and to also understand the accent. But
Mhm.
the more we spend time with them, the more we kind of like got a bit more comfortable. And I really want to give them like a shout out. Like, I mean, right now today they are like all adults. Some of them are like married, some have children and so forth. They know themselves. But then one of them, I remember her name. She's Adri, and she was like so obsessed with this cultural group, which is the Six Form Sister Singers. I know I can say she was obsessed because she knows she was obsessed, and she was always like, I want to join Sister Singers. I want to join Sister Singers, but she didn't want to go alone, right? And then so I think there was also Kareem. We got to meet Kareem, and I think Kareem was
Kareem, I think Kareem's in the chat.
shout out to Kareem. Yeah,
Mhm.
Kareem Bertrand. He played a role in also like I think influencing in a way Adri to like join the Sister Singers. And then so Marie considered auditioning. Now you guys saw know Marie already, Marie Pascal. Shameless plug, she just released an album. Y'all should just listen to it on YouTube. It's amazing.
I can
And
imagine.
yes, so she loves singing, right? And then she really wanted to join the choir. Like she didn't she wanted to join the choir because she loves singing. I was like, well, you know what? I knew how to sing because I used to sing at my high school choir. I went to an Adventist high school, so they like very much into singing. So I used to sing in the choir, and so she wanted to go and audition with Adri, who we met at church.
Mhm.
So Adri found out about audition. So literally Adri dragged her and Maria was like, you know what, let's go. And now because I didn't want to stay home alone and I didn't want to not have anything to do in this island, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna come too. Like Dominicans say I like to be in things. So I wanted to be like, like I didn't want to be alone. Yes. So I went. So I'm like, you're not leaving me home alone. So I'm like, so we went together. We went to audition. And she was like, we're gonna audition. Like, okay, fine. I knew how to hold my part. I knew how to sing. I'm an alto. I knew how to sing alto. So I had like my songs prepared. And then we auditioned. And then we were both in, right? So we did not in the Sister Singers. We were still like these two African girls. And I think, like the choir didn't have any like African people before. So I think people were also like curious to know, okay, what are these girls really about and stuff like that. But we started to be a bit more comfortable with the people. We started to like because in the choir we meet on Mondays and Saturdays. So at practice, at social events, we started to be more integrated in the culture. And little by little, I think that we started to see more of Dominica through the Dominican people. And I think really, Jael, this is one of the things that really made the plot twist and the shift for us, because even though we didn't fall in love with the island at first, right? We fell in love with the people. So seeing like how the people just love their country, they love their culture, and like just seeing how they were living as well. I think it helped us to create that community and to now see why they love the island so much. And then eventually we then started to go more places. We started to discover things like to do in Dominica. We started to discover the food. We started to go to events, and we're like, it have all this good time in Dominica. Okay. Yeah. So then yeah, so that's how we got like God. And then we got some of our like very close friends up to today. I would give them like a shout out, like we had like I mentioned Kareem, I mentioned Leandra, so Leandra very well.
Yes, yes.
Webster and Frida Marie now. They took us on we discovered Calibishi in Dominica for the very first time through
Wow.
them, because they now live there. And then we were like, wow, this island. I think that was one of our really like real trips. I mean, at school we had some school trips around the island, but that was like the time when we really went somewhere outside of Roseau. We discovered a new community, and we're like, wow, this island is really beautiful. So to go back to your question, I know I kind of like we went all over the place.
That's
Um,
okay.
it's like really being part of the church and then the Sister Singers that helped us to really uncover that new layer of Dominican culture and the people, and that's where our perspective just completely changed about the island.
Wow. That is such a wonderful story. And it goes to show that, and not just to show the public watching right now, but anybody who wants to migrate to another country, you
Mhm.
can't just stay at your home and say, I'm homesick. You can't just
No.
stay at your home and say, I need something to do, right? You
Mhm.
guys went out to church, you found a community at church, you were introduced to a singing community, and then you were introduced to the extended community, which is Dominicans on
Definitely.
a whole, and you have both fallen in love. And big up again and shout out to Mary Pascal Affana
Yeah.
on her release of her album. So
Yeah.
kudos to her. But you guys came from medical school, so she's out
No,
there
right?
making music. What happened? What happened? Re your medical school? Give us
Mhm.
the information. Give us the deets as to Did you complete medical school? Did you
Yeah.
switch up? Because you're doing so many things, and we're gonna try and
Oh,
get into as many of those things as possible.
and
Did you
yeah.
complete medical school?
Yes, we did. And we are doctors, so we have our degrees, we are good for ourselves, But the question that you asked is very important because I think for every parent, when they see their child go, overseas, they have a specific goal. And I think at some point when we started to be more into like extracurriculars, my mom was a little bit concerned. Like, I hope that you all are not just living too much of the life and forgetting about what you went there
You
for.
were
But
living their life.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is that we were actually doing both. We were living the life, but we were also doing what we came there for. So we completed medical school. And I think one of the reasons why we were also able to do well was because we were able to again nestle melt with the culture and really assimilate and accept the culture for what it is. Now you also asked me something about like like everything else in between. So the journey throughout medical school itself wasn't an easy one, and I think anyone who has studied overseas, I mean, unless you have like parents who have like loads of money that like just never ends and there's like no financial issue in your country ever or anything like that, you will experience some hardships, right? So at some point we were experiencing hardship because we ended up being raised by a single mother who was fending for us, and she had like other children to take care of. And we are like very ambitious people. So we had like sending your child to medical school isn't an easy feat. Like you can't just say you need to be good for yourself, and you need to be
Mhm,
willing
mhm.
to literally bend your back to like really do those sacrifices.
Two of
So
you, not just one,
yeah,
but two.
not just one, two, right? Two heads, two
Hmm.
girls.
Hmm.
So we faced some financial hardships, and there was a time like just what we experience right now where people lost their job because of the health crisis, right? There was also a time like that back then, and a lot of jobs where my mom worked were made redundant. So during that time, we had to hold on to like we had to pause on our medical education until she was able to get back on her feet. So we had to like literally ration whatever budget we had for a good while, knowing that we were not going to go to school. We had to ration it for our living expenses and so forth. And that is, in a way, how out of that hardship, we were inspired and we were pushed
Diamonds.
through. But yes, like it really made us strong and top like diamonds. And we really pivoted into working online, which just became a new avenue for us to figure out how to really sustain ourselves in this trying world. So yeah.
Wow. So this is such a beautiful. Why we took so long to have you on again?
I
Like
know,
what?
right?
This is
Oh
such
my
a wonderful
god.
story. So you guys are going through this hard times, like all of us do. We do go through periods of hard times in our life, but of course it's not just hard times in your country, it's hard time in another person's country. Obviously
Exactly.
you have to fend for yourself. You have to, I know my mom always used to say, if you hungry, you can ask your neighbor for fig. Or what kind of, did your community come through for you during that time? Like, what was it like, during those tough times when you had to take a pause because the money wasn't flowing like it used to?
Fortunately for us, we were not in a situation where we actually had to like well, we had to adjust our lifestyle for sure. But what the thing that really helped us a lot was there was a friend who was working remotely, and for us before that time, we didn't really know about remote work. We knew that for you to go to work, you have to take your 2 foot, take the bus or drive, and then go to work. So we didn't know about working like from your home, like what really is that, right? So
Mhm.
that friend, I will forever be grateful for her. She we talked to her briefly, like she was like, you know what, there's this website I'm using to work online and stuff, you can check it out, see if you can find things. So this really kind of like helped us to be able to make money on the side and like be in the gig economy. In terms of the support for the community, we were not in a situation where we needed to like get donations, but
Okay.
it was more like you were making a pause on your dream because you need
Mhm.
to ration. And we knew that my mom, being the fighter that she is, we knew that she was able to kick back again, but we just didn't know how long it was going to take
Wow.
because
How
we
long
didn't.
was that process? How long was that process?
So I think for about maybe a good 6 months, yeah, a good
Wow.
6 months or so, we were not able to like really. It was about maybe 4 to 6 months. I probably need to go back to my archives, but we were not able to go back to school
Hmm.
when we like at that time, and
Hmm.
so it also made our medical experience longer. But
Mhm.
during that time, we were really pushed to figure out how we can make it work. How we can ration our resources better, how we can use what we have, and how we can develop additional streams of income. But our friends were still there, our community was still there, but we knew that, like, if there was a situation where we needed like something in dire we were in dire need of something, we would get it. And that's also a point I want to make before you go back to the point that you want to make. It's like, as you grow, I just want to tell every young adult who's listening, as you grow, you need to have different categories of friends. There were friends in that time that we needed, actually, sometimes an advance, of
You
money.
for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
So we had some friends that we knew that, okay, if we need like them to give us some money, like to lend you some money, right? Knowing that you will give back, we could go to this person, right? So I
Mhm.
think there were times when we needed that because things were coming through, but they were not coming through fast enough, and we had to make some decisions. So it's really important to have friends, that you can depend on financially. It's really important.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Wait. I don't know what happened. I think we lost. Let me just make sure. You guys are still hearing us. Let's just something just happened. This show is so hot. Something just happened to both of us. Both of us got kicked off. Let me know if you guys are seeing us. Let me know if we're still on. I want to see the drop. Let us know if you're still seeing us because we got cut off, and I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm seeing me. I'm gonna bring her back on. We were talking. I don't know what happened. Like, I literally don't know. I don't think it was the internet because we both seem to have. It just had a flash, and all of a sudden the screen went blank. We're bringing her back on. You're there, right?
Yes, I'm back. Yes, I
Oh my
I
god.
feel like it was. I know.
Something happened. It was like a second. It was like for a
Yeah,
second, a split
blackout.
second. And we were in the middle of talking about the types of
Mhm.
friends that you need to have in your life
Need to
and
have.
why
Yes.
they're so
Mhm.
important. So apologies, guys, for the brief interruption. But Clementine was talking to us about how important it is to have the right circle around you.
Yes, yes. And so, Jael, you spoke about sorry, friends for a reason, a season, and a lifetime, right? And I want to add to that and say you need to have friends that you can depend on for different things. There's a friend that you can depend on financially, not depend on, but like if you need something, you need somebody to take you out of a situation. There has to be a friend who can help you financially, and that is like real adulthood needs. Like this is like real things. Like it's not like we
Real
just
problems. Like if you
real
need,
problem.
you're missing $300 on your rent, can you lend me $300?
Yes,
Right?
yes, yes, exactly. You need that kind of friend. You need a friend who is going to give you spiritual advice, right? Like we are spiritual beings, and sometimes we cannot see through our own selves, and we need somebody who has that sound mind. You need a friend who can also give you emotional advice. There are people who are like really, really good, like in their relationships, and they can give like amazing advice and stuff like that. You need that kind of friends. You also need friends who you can have fun with, right? Because life is cannot just be like all serious and so forth. And importantly, Jael, while you need all these friends, you also need to be that friend in different capacity to
Wow.
your other friends. That is very
Gems.
important
Gems.
because yeah, exactly. Because you have to also know that okay, sometimes people can come to me for this, sometimes you can come to me for that, and I said because you cannot just have those friends and just take and never give. So it's really important. So I just wanted to make that like that point before just shouting on my friends again, that because there were times when we really needed that financial advice, we really need that spiritual advice, we really need that like just a shoulder to lean on, and we always had friends who were just coming through for us in those different moments of our life. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. Let's take a break. Let's take a breather. Or not a break, but a breather. We're gonna breathe.
Breathe.
And while we're breathing, we're gonna go to the chat because folks have been on here from the start and
Okay.
and they've been showing their support and they've been showing their love. We are streaming on 4 platforms. So we're on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on X. And folks are talking to themselves, they're talking with each other, they're
Mhm.
sharing. So people like C. Gaze is saying it's indeed a wonderful story. Edgar Hunter is saying, Clementine, I love your story.
Oh, thank
Shalima
you.
Joseph, Doctor is multi-talented, down to earth, great personality.
Oh, my
Kareem,
nurse.
Kareem is saying, yes, your nurse. You would not believe, but my mom named her. But that's another story. That's another story. Um,
Another story.
Kareem Bertrand is on, and he's saying these ladies do everything well. Kudos to them. Earlier on, I did see Kareem asking for his I believe he was asking for his royalties. I did see
Hmm.
that somewhere in the chat. He was asking for all of the royalties. Levia Edwards is saying great advice, Clem. That is just speaking to what you were just speaking about in terms of friendships and the
Right.
types of friendships to have and the type of friend you also need to be as a human being. Sandra Norris, people are saying yes, like they're really enjoying the conversation. Folks are tagging, and really getting everybody in on the conversation. Chris Hilton, he said, I only met Clem once and she speaks motivation. She's a go getter. Following her journey is so inspiring. Continue to do great work. So these are all the
Oh,
lovely stuff folks are
or
saying
maybe.
about you. And I've always heard nothing but really great things about both you and your sister and how inspiring you both are. So you complete medical school,
Mhm.
and what happens next?
Okay. Whew, Jael, this is like a bomb. I don't want to say big words, but y'all were saying all these great things. But listen, the other shoe drop. I think there were like 10 shoes that dropped throughout our journey in Dominica, and maybe they are more to come. But so that's a good question. You complete medical school. What is next? The thing is, when you like make your life plan as a young adult, you're thinking, by this age, I'm gonna be married. I'm gonna be, or like I get my degree. I finish medical school. I'll probably have my boyfriend on the way to getting married, or maybe like after a year or two in, I'm gonna have like my children and then we're settling in a house, right? The universe was like, baby girl, big joke. So I completed medical school. The next thing for me was to get a job. And Jael, it has never been this hard for me to get anything than to get a job, working in the field in which I trained, right? So my path was after medical school, I will specialize because generally we recommend that doctors specialize into something that they want to do. It could be like a heart doctor, a brain doctor, eye doctor, and so forth. So it's usually advisable if you have the funds and if you're able to do it, go and specialize and then come back and serve, right? But sometimes people can choose to just kind of like practice in general before they go and specialize. So my goal was to go and specialize. So I was thinking I would go overseas, and then apply for specialization,
Over
then
another
train
sea, right? Over another sea.
over another sea, yeah, over another sea, yes. Especially because Dominica also has specialty programs, right? So that was a plan, but the plan didn't work. The plan didn't work, and I realized that it was more complicated and more challenging than what I thought. And so I took a year after medical school. I taught at my alma mater, Alsons University, and I discovered that I love teaching. But I also wanted to focus and taking a year to really build in my portfolio so that I could be more competitive for the specialty programs that I wanted to go for, right? Because now it's no longer Clementine who is like amazing in the Caribbean, but it's Clementine who is amazing in the Caribbean but has to compete with the rest of the world, other students who are amazing in the Caribbean and in the US and everywhere else. So I tried different things. It didn't work. I took some time off, like from like teaching. I was still working remotely, and I was looking for opportunities to do like research to really build my portfolio so that when I apply for specialty programs I can be more competitive. Jael, it still didn't work. And so I felt like in a way though, in everything that I was doing, God was just bringing me back to Dominica, right? Like I was traveling, I was like going to different states, different countries, doing rotations, like networking, all kind of things. But God was still bringing me back to Dominica. And so at some point, I was like, okay, what really am I doing? Because I went to school to study this thing, to become this thing. And yes, I'm a doctor, but I'm not able to go to that next step. So I felt like even though I was like doing all these things, I was working remotely. That's how I was fending for myself. I was making money. I was being able to support myself. So I wasn't hungry or anything like that. But I wasn't working in the field in which I trained to work. And for me, it started to become a source of frustration. And I started to feel like, well, my mom spent all this money, like everything that we've gone through, and like I need to work as a doctor.
Mhm.
Then I realized that while I was so after medical school, I didn't get a job as a doctor, but I was doing like other things, like I was doing like doing other things. So while I was looking for opportunities, sorry, my language just fell. While I was looking for opportunities, I started to travel more because I wanted to explore more countries to see where eventually I would want to practice. And that's kind of like how travel with Clem became a thing, because I was going to those places. I was paying for my own travel. Initially, my mom was helping me, but when I became financially independent, even though I wasn't working as a doctor, I was paying for my own travels. I was doing things. I was going places. I was writing about my stories. I was sharing. People were asking me for tips. So that's how travel became with Clem became. And then I created this platform. Then for me to share more of my stories, I learned how to create a blog, and then I learned how to create a social media page, and I learned how to create content. So it kind of like unfolded all together. So I was learning these new amazing skills. I was going to amazing places. I was working remotely. I was living a beautiful life. And wherever I was going, I was also networking with people in the medical field for me to be able to advance my career. But I wasn't working in that ultimate goal that I had, which was to work as a doctor. And so, Jael, throughout that journey, I realized that maybe God had a different plan, right? Not to not become a doctor, but a plan to make me realize that even though you are on this journey, you should look at other avenues. You should be able to explore your other skills. Like, don't be so focused on like, I want to be a doctor. Like, I'm going to be happy when I'm a doctor. I'm going to be happy when I start seeing patients. I'm going to be happy when I start doing things. And he was just telling me, like, enjoy those other things that I'm showing you. Enjoy those other skills that I'm helping you develop, because you just don't know where it's going to take you. And I will tell you, Jael, that until I started to work as a doctor, it was all these other skills, all these other things that I was doing, like medical writing, consultancy, social media work, and so forth. All these things I was doing online that were really helping me to support myself, to afford my life, to even fuel back in my dreams. So I wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't start working as a doctor until maybe like, well, until actually the pandemic happened. But
Wow.
yeah, imagine that. But before that, I wasn't there or anything. Like, I was living, I was thriving in different other fields, and I was like, God, if that was the plan, why didn't you just let me start with those things? Like, why did you make me go through all this medical school? Like, let's
No,
make
because he does whatever he has to do, how he wants to do it,
exact
right?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure your journey and the people you met along the way, you've inspired them, right? Because here they are seeing this young woman who's multifaceted, who's able to do this and write and do research and do blogs and I know I personally got hooked to your travel with Clem, your Insta vlogs,
Yes.
when you'd go live and you'd give your reviews on various things. I didn't attend Kura Music Festival last year, but you were there and I felt like I was there because I did not miss
Aw,
a beat, right? I did
thank
not
you
miss a
so
beat
much.
because in your
Yes.
stories you were updating us as to with different performers, and then the day after, even when you were running out of voice and
Mhm.
you were tired and you didn't sleep because and your shoe, I believe you had one time you had gone change your shoe, you had to
Yes,
leave and change your shoe
yes,
to come back. You you were you're keeping us up
yes.
to date on what was
Mhm.
going on. And I mean, I'm in media, but I'm not that dedicated.
Aw.
I will I will come back the next day and give a review, but I'm not
Yeah.
that dedicated to be giving you hour by hour when people will
Hey.
come on. No, hour by
Yeah.
hour play is the aim for me. And you've really captivated a lot of us, and we follow you, and probably too. I think too, a lot of people tend to have more faith in people that they love for other things.
Mhm.
Probably that was where God was leading you, because eventually you got to practice. But before we
Yes.
get into that, I think we want to talk a little bit about you in the digital space, right?
Yes.
I want to get into that a little bit, before we get into talking about you becoming a doctor. So you started off this journey of you in the medical, or in the digital space, started off working online, and it
Mhm.
branched out as a result of travel with Clem. But
Mhm.
you've also done a variety of things, like you became a digital specialist, an online work consultant. You've
Yes.
done a lot of things. You've been an instructor with the Work Online Dominica programs. um,
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about all of these different ventures, and I specifically want you to think, when you're talking about this, to think about like remote work. And sometimes people are just like, remote work, like what is that all about? I
Yeah.
actually like you, I think you're a perfect guest today because just on Monday I wrapped up my semester with students because I also teach like you, and
Mhm,
and we were talking about remote work, because I found that a lot of people who got into university during the pandemic, they're probably
mhm.
not going to consider working in an office,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
share with us a little bit about, because I know a lot of young people are probably sitting at home and they really do not want, and it's not that they cannot work, but they really do not want to go into an office. They have
Mhm.
social anxiety for whatever reason, because of the
Mhm.
pandemic, because of so many different things.
Mhm.
And they also just want to work within the confines of the four walls of their home. Share with us a little
Mhm.
bit about your experience, and anything, any little deets you can give us about remote work.
Absolutely. So I think that this era, honestly, Jael, it brings a lot of excitement. Like the century in which we live in, it's very exciting. There are a lot of new things, and there are a lot of things that are done differently, right? Like back in the days, remote work wouldn't even be a thing. Like people would think that if you're at home, you're not working. Like what work are you doing? But while I was traveling the world, right, I was never like in one place to say that I was working. Like I work with clients like in France, in Switzerland, in South Africa, in Europe, like all around the world. And at the end of the day, what I realize is like people don't care where you are located as long as you deliver. You provide good value for what you are being paid for. You are a good member of the team. It doesn't matter. You can be like in the beach, Mirror Beach, and do your work. I mean, nobody really works at the beach, but like you know what I mean. So the opportunities are endless, and I also think that because we are it's the young people of today, we are living in an era where digital is the new thing. There are so many careers that you can do within the digital field, from like selling to marketing, to prospecting to consulting to creation. So there are so many things, and what I really want to say before I dive deeper is that whatever you are considering, a young person, or young in your own terms, wherever you are, whatever career you are considering, do not give up if you don't see somebody do it, right? Like look for people who have done it, look for examples, and then follow that path. And in the field of remote specifically, there are so many opportunities for people who are like in North America, even people who are in the Caribbean. If you're not in the USA or Canada or anything like that, if you're in the Caribbean or in Africa, there are so many companies hiring for people with your talent. So in terms of like additional deeds that I would give you, I would say for somebody to really be able to succeed in this field is you need to be able to have self-discipline, right? Because there's this thing about going to the office, right? When you go in the office, people are going to go around your office, your cubicles, see what you're doing, your boss is going to pop in and stuff like that. So there are like some unspoken ways of checking if you are doing the work, right? But when you're working remotely, you are kind of like your own boss. You are in charge of your own agenda. So you have to deliver. You have to have enough self-discipline. And even if you don't have it, you have to build it, because you need to be trusted with the work, right? You need to be trusted and dependable that you are going to with the work that you are being entrusted with. So that's one of the things. The other thing is you need to have like skills that will help you to be able to work remotely. For example, Jael, I may be like a really really good sale agent at Flow, right? But
Mhm.
there's a company in Dubai who is looking for somebody to help them do sales. Now, you're not going to be present in Dubai, but you're going to be doing sales over the phone. So, how are you going to translate your sales skills that you use when you are seeing customers at Flow? You can like kind of like size them up and be like, okay, I know I can sell them this, that. How are you going to transfer this in the digital world? That is what you will need to learn. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It means that you need to learn how you can transfer your skills from one point to another point, right? And then
Mhm.
the other thing that I would say, if you want to land a remote job, is to be willing to upskill. Because one of the things that I did, and I always teach this to my coaching students, is that I started with one skill, but when I started to see what clients were looking more for, like what they were trying to, what they wanted in addition to what I had to offer, I started to learn that. For example, I said that in the beginning, I didn't say it, but like in the beginning, no, I speak French, but I learned English. I learned English in high school, and then I learned more English when I moved to Dominica. So I knew about English and French, and I knew how to write English and French, but I couldn't always speak this fluently, right? So what I did was I took more of these type of projects. I took like trainings, I took certifications, so I leveled up my skills so that I could continue working. I could actually work in this field in a paid capacity, and now clients can pay me, to translate documents, materials, in English and French, to speak at events, English and French and so forth. So what I want to say is, with whatever skill you have, think about ways in which you can upskill, level up that skill, so that you can be marketable and competitive in the digital place. It might sound harder than it is, but trust me, there are people who have less skills than what you have right now, and they are making money, not leaving their office, in their pajamas, on their mama's couch, sipping some pina coladas and some rum and coke, while you're stressing yourself. So just think about that. Do not play yourself. This 2024 is the year for you to go for it.
You hear that, people? 2024 is the year to go for it. Here's your motivation speech for the
Right
month of
here.
April. Your brands are focused on helping people, like you rightfully speak about, you know, being financially free. Like you've always spoken about that on your blogs. You always teach. You're always wanting to give tips on how to like you mentioned upscale, how to, but you also give tips on travel. Could you
Hmm.
share some practical tips for individuals looking to prioritize public travel while maintaining financial stability? Because I mean, you've gone all over the damn place in Dominica and outside, and people must be saying, "But what's she doing now like that? Like, how much money is she making so like that? How are you
Exactly.
able to financially afford this? Like, how do you prioritize and how do you maintain financial stability even while, because it's sad to see that a lot of young people in Dominica, just in Dominica, and they've not stepped out of Dominica. And
I
it's funny when you
know.
see some of them step out and they're like, oh my god, like I didn't know that was happening outside there,
Mhm.
you know. If you
Yeah.
could share some of those tips with us.
Definitely. So I want to share some tips on uh yeah, like managing your money, and then also like things that are available to you out there. So the first thing when it comes to managing your money, I would say, before you travel, and I know when I started traveling, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, even if when I come back, I'm gonna like suffer a little bit, like for 2 weeks, for the
Eating
account
dry
to get
bread.
back. Yes, yes, exactly. Ramen, I think for the car to breathe a little bit. But I think it's also important to know that you can do that and not have to like come back home and like suffer for 2 or 3 weeks. Like you can really plan accordingly. So what I would say is, if you are really serious about traveling, like you want to include it more in your life, set up your budget, right? In fact, actually, Jael, after Carnival Live, I did like a travel budgeting session and stuff, and I have actually a travel budget sheet. If anyone is interested, you can just let us know in the comments. I'm gonna send you the link. So learn how to budget your money, and when you budget, you want to really put in your big categories, your stuff like your savings and stuff, and then you want to put some money for your travels or whatever you call recreation, right? That's gonna be in the recreation budget. The second thing that you also want to do is you want to get an additional source of income, because things are getting more expensive. Things are more like it's a lot harder right now. We can't deny that, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that we have to be smarter and we have to make more effort, make more effort. So with an additional source of income, if you have your little thing on the side, whether it's your small business, whether it's your hobby, it can generate more income. And I will say, if you want to figure out what you should do, look for the things that people come to you for. If you know you are always the one cooking at family events, there goes your side income. If you know you are always the one taking photos, there goes your side income. If you know you're always the one braiding hair or putting lashes, there goes your side income. Do not neglect those things. I know I'm speaking to somebody. That side
Mhm.
income can grow, especially if you capitalize on that during very, very busy periods. Think like summer, think carnival, think Creole season, think Christmas, think those kind of things, right? So build a side income, and that way you will have more money that you can actually dispose of however you want. If it's travel, you can do that. The third thing that I would say is really start to think about like travel hacking. And how do we do travel hacking? We do it with like credit cards. Now, I know in the Caribbean, we don't really like to hear about this whole credit card. You feel like it's a scam or anything like that. But I know that Jael has an international audience, and I know that there are some people who are living in countries where they're actually using a lot of credit cards. And even if you live in the Caribbean, you probably, and you're planning to go to the US or anywhere in Canada, you will get into the credit card game whether you want it or not. So I just want to let you know that there are some credit cards that actually give you a lot of rewards that allow you to travel, right? So when you open a new credit card, they can give you points, like bonus points that you can claim for travel later. And you
Mhm.
see people like Jael, they are doing like every 3 months or every 3 to 6 months, they have new credit cards. It doesn't mean that they are financially irresponsible. They have good credit scores, but with those credit cards, they are actually able to get
Get
points that they
point
can redeem for
rewards.
flights. right, rewards for accommodation and so forth. So that's something else that you can look into, especially if you are in North America. It is very lucrative, but you have to know how to use your credit cards. If you're not in North America, think about like things like your budgeting, your additional source of income, so that your main income is not moved at all. And you know what, you should be set to travel. And one last thing I would say, start where it's easy, start where it's cheap. I really kick things off in Dominica by doing I had already traveled to many countries, but when the world closed, I did a lot of travel within Dominica, like the staycations, the day trips, the things like that. So start on the island. If you feel like, you know what, I fell with Dominica, I don't want to explore Dominica again, go to the next island. Go to Martinique, go to Guadeloupe, go to St. Lucia, spend 3 days in St. Lucia, go to Barbados, do these little things and start in the start in the places that are close to you, and then expand. Sometimes people just be like, boy, I cannot wait for the day when I'm going to Africa, or I want to save my money to go to Africa. I want you to go to Africa, yes, but you have to get your passport stamped a little more, maybe to get more confident, and you have to get, like to also know yourself better when you travel. And the best way to do it is by doing places that are really close to you. So those are some of the tips that I want to share, and I hope
Well,
that
well, well. Well, you see all those gems all you get. Normally, you'll have to pay for it. Okay,
I know, right?
You can go follow her because she
Yeah.
has lots more tips. We'll give you that information before we wrap up today. But I want to talk a little bit about also your clothing business. You guys have an online clothing store, and let me tell you, I'm probably gonna mess up the name. So I'm
Ngaska.
gonna, I was watching Family Feud South Africa, and Steve Harvey
Uh-huh.
was saying, okay, sometimes you see them and you're not sure which letter we dropping, which one
I
we're
know.
dropping. So we're dropping the G. We're dropping
Yeah.
the G, and it's NASCAR. Thank God. Okay, so you have an online clothing store that features a lot of African wear and African. Why did you
Yeah.
feel that was something that, and I know where you're gonna go with that, but why did you feel like this was a niche to tap into?
Yes. So Jael, I'm wearing Gaska tonight because it's like super easy. I was like, listen, what am I gonna throw on this live show that's gonna look beautiful and not show the pajamas that I'm wearing under? Guys, I'm not wearing pajamas, okay? I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing jeans. I can prove it. My
Well,
best.
let's not start proving because I would have to prove what I'm wearing underneath, and I don't think I want to prove that tonight. There,
Yeah. So, but to go back to your question, I think one of the things that really inspired me was every time, like my friends were always like, we like your outfits, we like your looks, we like what you're wearing. And to me, I was like, I mean, that's like my basic things that I wear when I'm in Africa. Like, what is there to like, really like? And I really realized that for me, even though it was like my usual basic things, for the African diaspora, which are my brothers and sisters here in the Caribbean, this is part of the heritage that they did not get to know, because of history, right? And so, in a way, I felt like, what, I started to tell myself, I really wish you could see all these beautiful fabrics every day. I really wish you could have these looks at your disposal. I really wish you could just go to a fabric store and be like, what, I want this African print. I want this, just like I do when I'm back home, because it is so mundane, like it's so everyday.
Mhm.
And so our goal started to be able to provide not just African fabric, but the best African fabric in quality in Dominica and in the Caribbean in general. So we wanted to provide that because we felt like, even though the Caribbean diaspora or the African diaspora was separated, from history, I like, to me, it was a way to share, to bring culture closer to the people. And one of the ways for doing that is like through food and stuff, but also through clothing. So when we launched Ngaska, the goal was really to make African prints available to people whenever they need them. And the motto is be elegant every day in every way. And the reason for that is because back home, right? This is what we wear to go to work. Like, obviously not this style because like my shoulder is off. But if you go to any African country, you will see people wearing their traditional clothes more. It's almost like here you will see people wearing my dress to go to work more. So you will see like all kind of traditional clothes to work more. So we wanted people to feel like you can be elegant in the way that you want every single day. You don't need to wait for a special occasion. And so I'm really grateful that with my team here on in Dominica and our team, in Africa, in different countries like Cameroon and so many countries, Senegal and so forth, we were able to really bring these kind of prints to Dominica. We continuously grow. We have so many like clients and such a big family in Dominica, people who love us. I know a lot of people are already placing their orders for the Jazz and Creole season. People love what we offer like through our different seasons, and we just want to continue to help reconnect our family, with their roots. And even if you're not of African descent, yeah, the prints are freaking beautiful. Like, get yours now.
Yes. How do you maintain all of this? Like
Oh.
how are you? Because see, people ask me all the time, and I tell them it's exhausting. I don't maintain it. Sometimes I do some things and I don't do some things. How do you maintain such
Yeah.
a busy life, juggling
Mhm.
being a doctor, being
Mhm.
doing remote work, also consulting
Um,
work, also
yeah.
like how do you juggle all of this? What is a day in the life of Clem looks like?
Whew, a day in the life, girl. I know for sure it's nothing like those mini vlogs that they be showing. Like, come with me a day in my life, have breakfast. I'm like, they be chaotic. They be chaotic. But I would say so. So just to give you a day in my life, right? So I wake up at 4 a.m. Right? Wake up at 4 a.m. I have the first hour of the day. I dedicated to God. I pray, and I also study, right? Because I like for me to be sharp in my craft, like medically wise, I need to like study, and I started to put a study program. Sometimes I'm able to study more than others, but I pray in the morning, and then half an hour of prayer, and then half an hour studying. If I'm like, I'm not really in the mood for studying, like I just like an hour prayer. Then after that, I do 20 minutes of workout exercise. I'm working to increase that, as the time goes by, because I want to get back to my pre-pandemic fitness. And then after that, I then take time for me to work on my businesses. So like the early hours of the day, like before at least 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., it's dedicated to my businesses. So whatever travel with Clem needs, whatever Ngaska needs, do I need to create content? Do I need to review work? Do I need to pitch? Do I need to email? Do I need to like whatever I need to do for the business I do during these days? Why these hours? Why? Because Jael, I have a 9 to 5, so I need to go and do that 9 to 5. So I start my 9 to 5 between 9:30 and 10, and I do my hours of work until 5 p.m. And then from 5 p.m. I then go home. I kind of like unwind a little bit, and then I go back to my travel with Clem on Gasca work. So I go back to these things. And I also forgot the Marie Pascal music brand work. I go back to that work, and then I try to be in bed by 9 p.m. Now, my challenge is that because I'm a workaholic and I am struggling with that, the bedtime does never really happen around night. Like when I manage to do that, I'm like, yeah, like when I manage to go to bed at 9 p.m., I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like so
You're in
I
bed and you're thinking of all what you have to do, and you're like,
yeah.
"Why am I in bed when I could be up doing it?"
Exactly. Exactly. But like it's like give and take. Sometimes, some days you have it going. Other days you like, mm-mm. So it's really hard to manage, especially when you have such big dreams. But one thing that really keeps me grounded, I will tell you, is really being close to God and dedicating the early time, like really having a solid relationship with God. Because sometimes I feel like I don't know, like I'm not sure, but because I know that I can hear the Holy Spirit speak to me, I'm like, I know this is what I have to do. Even if I'm scared, I can feel, I can sense. And Jael, you will not know this. My team will know this. A lot of the things that we launched, a lot of the things that we tried, a lot of the risks that I took were inspired by God, and it ended up panning out. So I was crazy scared out of my head. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off. But because I knew it was divine order, I'm like, you know what, girl, go and do it. Even if you cry in the process, just go be doing it. Like go do it, go and then hide. At least you've done it,
Speaking
right?
about going and do it, you took on an adventure to go see parts of Canada. Listen, okay, let me just get into my African accent. So
Yes, yes. So
I have lived in Canada for so many years, and I have only been to Alberta. I've
mm-hmm.
been to Montreal. Well, I lived in Montreal.
Oh,
I've been to
nice.
Quebec.
Okay.
Montreal, Quebec, Ottawa,
Mhm.
and probably anything between Montreal, Ontario, and Montreal.
And okay.
That's about it, but not in the way that you have decided that you find you fresh, you want to travel with Clem, and even show Canadians how to do it on a budget. I was like, but Clem fresh, Clem not
I
easy. I love how you launched it with the banner. You
Mm.
actually inspired me because I'm like, next time I go to Canada, I'm for chupulsa. I am going
Yes,
to know more
yes,
places because
yes.
I've lived in Canada more as more of my life
Mm-hmm.
than I've lived in Dominica. And I
Yes.
don't know half of them. What made you want to do this? And tell us about the journey so far. Or is it over?
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, no, it's not. Yeah. So, like you were saying, Jay, I fresh. Literally,
You
I
fresh.
come out.
You
I
come
come.
out.
Yes, I come out. I don't know who sent me. But honestly, so I think there are like a lot of similarities in Dominica to that. It's just like different landscapes. And I was inspired to do this journey when I actually went to Alberta last year, specifically Banff. I think because you
I
are
did do
familiar
that.
with Canada, you will know this city.
Yes.
But for those who are not, Banff is a resort city. In
Beautiful. Lake Louise.
beautiful. Yes, yes. It's like Jael. I thought being in Dominica has seen nature, but hey, no, God is amazing. The way the lake is looking blue. Emerald pool, emerald pool. What is an emerald pool? That lake is blue. Yeah.
And
So
did you do
so
the gondolas? Did you do the gondola across the lake?
no, I didn't do that, but I did the one to go up to like to see the Rockies and to go up to like a place where you have dinner, like the views
Yes,
are
I
like
did that. I
it's so
actually did
pretty.
that in 2004. That's how long ago. I
Yeah.
did
So you
that
need to go
for
back.
my birthday in 2004.
Wow, amazing. That is really beautiful. And so what happened is that I traveled there, right, for like 4 or 5 days. And before that I was in Toronto for a year. And so I realized that okay, because I knew that Toronto was it. Everybody who go Toronto is like the New York of Canada and the New York City of Canada. And so I was like, when I went to Banff, I was like, this city is actually beautiful and this province is actually beautiful. What else are we not aware of, or what else do I not know about the beauty of this country? Like, am I just gonna be in Toronto and be like, you know what, Toronto is all that, and Ontario, this province is all that? I was like, you know what, I really want to explore more of this. Like, I don't want to feel like there's a place that I haven't seen. Like, I want to really see more of the beauty of the country. And at that point, Jael, I was actually scared because I was like, yeah, where you come out there, you just new in the people country, you don't know those provinces, you want to go to those far harbors, you cannot even say the
Canada is
name.
safe.
You want,
Canada is
yeah.
safe. Just if you're gonna ask for anybody for advice, ask a black person over a white person any day. You'll be fine. You'll
Thank
be
you for
fine.
that tip. Thank you for that tip.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine. Don't. I mean, I'm not saying don't ask white people, but if there's a black person and a white person, ask the black person before you ask the black. But
Advice.
because
Got
black
it.
people will lead you, they will more than likely tell you where you need to go. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so amazing to see you do this. Where have you been so far?
Right. So what I wanted to do, I've so far I've been to Ontario and to Quebec, which are two provinces. And just for like a background for people, I'm exploring all the provinces and territories of Canada. Solo as a solo traveler. It's almost like doing the
Do you
all the
have to
states
do
in
it
the US.
solo though? Do you have to do it solo? Because
No,
I
I
was
don't
actually going to tell you when I come up, let's do PEI.
have.
Like
Okay.
Prince Edward Island is
You want to go there?
one of my friend lives. I have a friend who lives there, but I also have a cousin who's traveled there, and
Mhm.
there's a suspending bridge. There's
Okay.
the bridge that is over the ocean that like you feel
Okay.
like it's moving and it's
Oh
over the
wow.
ocean. Yes. Um,
Wow.
so I've actually sorry I've also been to Nova Scotia,
Oh
um,
nice.
and I was actually thinking of moving to Nova Scotia. You know, the only reason it's just it takes so long to get back to Dominica, and not
From
just that,
there.
the time
Mhm.
difference, and
Ah, yeah, that's true.
because you're going on the East Coast, which is
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
time change, and
yeah.
even like in Banff, it's like 4 hours ahead, and then Nova Scotia is four
Mhm.
hours behind. It just
Behind you,
I
like
want it to be as close to our time as possible.
time
So
zone. Yes,
that is
yes,
my biggest issue why I have not moved out of Ontario because I cannot stand Ontario. Like
yeah.
I am
But
ready to get out.
wow, but yeah, we can definitely do PAI together. PAI together when you come back. Let me know. Let's
Yes.
organize it. It doesn't have to be solo. But yeah, the goal is really to inspire people to see more again, more of your country, more of where you live, because the beauty is probably there waiting for you to explore. So I have done two provinces, but for this trip, I want to actually start over again. Ontario is where I'm based, the province, but I'm gonna explore Ontario again. So I have 13 provinces to go. So you asked me if I have started yet. In my own books, not, and I'm gonna be starting this spring. So look out. We are in April. Look out in the next few weeks. We are gonna be out there exploring everywhere in Canada, including the
Clem,
cold provinces.
Ontario is a huge province. Like
Yeah.
you can get to vast, so you can do close to the reserves, or you could do
Mm-hmm.
close to the city. You could go to Muskoka. You could go to
Yeah. I'm thinking
Kingston.
Muskoka.
You could go to
Yes.
like Ontario. Like I've lived across when I've
It's
traveled
different.
across Ontario to
Okay.
different places, because I have a lot of white friends and they have cabins, and they want to go on,
Yeah.
they want to go by the lake, and you
And,
go out.
know,
When you got those bougie friends. So
I know, right?
bro, that's how I really got to see the province. It
Mhm.
wasn't family saying, let's go out and explore. It's like family just got stuck
Yeah.
in Ontario in one
In like one
spot
city.
and never
Yeah.
really moved. So it's really
Mhm.
wonderful to see that you've come in and you're like, and you got me thinking. I was like, but I ridiculous for somebody like me that like to do this so much. I've
I
not
know.
ventured outside per se. Like I wanted to go to Saskatchewan. I wanted to
Girl.
go to the my God, I just drew a blank. Yukon territories. I wanted to go
You
see.
can, yes.
I wanted to go all of these different. As a matter of fact, I was looking for jobs there at one time because I
At
really
some
want
point.
to explore. But it's
Yes.
so wonderful to know that you're doing this. I follow you, so I've been seeing your journey, and I'm glad you're starting over, so we can start over and watch
We're all
every
together.
single
Yes.
bit. I know you're going to be sharing a lot of info. So
Oh,
tell us
yeah.
a little bit about what you'll be sharing on your journey. So for
Yes.
those of us who want to tag along, so we could know what to
Mhm.
expect.
Yes. So I'll be traveling across Canada. I will be visiting every single province and territory. And throughout this trip, I'm going to be spending 4 to 5 days in each destination to show what you can do there, whether you are traveling solo or you are traveling, with somebody else for a short period of time, right? I'm going to focus on like a lot of culture based activities. Canada is very rich in like indigenous culture, just like Dominica is rich like with the Canada culture. I'm also going to be showcasing a lot of black owned businesses, indigenous businesses, but also different cuisines, different adventures and different nature experiences that you can actually have in each province. So it's going to be like if you want to have like a city getaway in a city, you can do that. You will have ideas, but if you want to have more like of a nature getaway in a different destination, you can also do that. So the goal is to really showcase the beauty of each province, but with a focus on culture, indigenous and black culture, and also adventure and nature and cuisine. So it's gonna be a fun filled trip with like many destinations.
That is excellent. I want to also put you in touch with the Black business of Canada, because I know the
Yes.
people, I know the folks. They'd be great to help you in terms of connecting you with Black businesses and
Oh,
all the
yes, I
different
would love
branches
that.
and stuff.
I would love
Um,
that. I would love
so
that. And if
so
you
I,
also know, yeah, if you
the
also know like
executive.
locals,
Yes,
Dominicans in like
yes.
different
Dominicans.
provinces,
Let me tell you, Dominicans everywhere. They're Dominicans. You believe that? Can you believe there's a Dominican in Manitoba, like Jik, Manitoba, where they have
Manitoba.
where they have the Mennonites, and
Mhm.
and and they're little racists out there. So you gotta be careful, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Good
You'll
to
be fine.
know. Good to
There's a
know.
little bit of racism everywhere. You just have
Everywhere,
to
yeah.
know. You have to know. The thing about it is that when you're African, or even when you're African slash Caribbean, which you are,
Mm,
you tend to not recognize racism when it's directed to you,
mm.
because we don't know how to recognize it until somebody
But
says to us, or unless it's like really explicit. Um,
explicit, like,
so it's very hard for us to recognize racism. So I'm constantly
mm,
trying to like almost switch my mind so that I'm like,
mm,
okay, get into the Canadian mode so you know when it is. I just look at it as
yeah,
aggression, or I just say that person's having a bad day. So just those things you have to pay attention to. The few
okay.
little, those little connotations and stuff. But yes, Canada has racism. People always say Canada is like doesn't have racism. That is so not true. There is racism in Canada. And yes, they did have slaves as well. Because
Yeah,
most think
yeah,
that Canada
mm,
saved all the slaves that came from America. They also had
yeah,
slaves. But I'm so excited for your journey. There's lots to do in
yes,
Canada, and I'm gonna be following, and if I can join you, if I'm in the
Yes.
land, I will love to be your plus one, on
Yeah.
your journey. And I'm really excited to see what you uncover on your journey.
Mm.
What's next for you? Like, you've been in Canada. What brought you there? Why you there? Are you planning on moving to Canada? What's going on?
Does that? Yeah, it's a good questions actually. So I recently moved to Canada because again in the field of in the medical field in which I want to go, I got a research opportunity. Part of what I want to do as a doctor in the future is being involved in academic research, right? So there was a really good opportunity with the doctor who's doing amazing work in that type of research, and then they got funding for the project, so I was able to come and apply and then come on board as part of their team. So as you know, like sometimes when you get funding, like the funding can be for like different periods of time. So right now I'm still there because we still have funding. And while I'm there, I'm really taking that opportunity to really explore and power through that cross Canada tour, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be there for, and I don't want to be in a situation where okay, I no longer work there, and then I have to struggle for me to figure out how am I going to explore this country. So that's what's next. Definitely continue with the research that I'm doing. When it comes to remote work, I will continue coaching people on how they can find remote work opportunities. Travel with Clem right now is focusing on the cross Canada tour. And my brand Gasca, well, you know what, we are focusing on like the summer collections and the jazz and Creole collections. And the Mario Pascal music brand just released music. So we're just going with the flow and pushing all the goals ahead. So yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited for you. Okay, let's get into the chat, because a lot of folks, listen, I feel like I need to have somebody, like I need to have somebody pop into the conversation and come and say,
Where is
"Hey,
Sima?
Jael, we have folks in the chat.
Where
We
is Simaj? Simaj is off.
we have folks in the chat. Let's get into the chat. First of
Okay.
all, check her, follow her at travelwithclam.com. That's her
Yeah.
website. So you can go and you can follow her. All of Mary Pascal is dropping all the details on there.
Whoop,
So
whoop.
definitely follow her on Travel with Clem. You can get her on Facebook, Instagram, everything. She on everything. She's everywhere. There's social media. I follow her, so I know.
Yes.
Um, so somebody was saying, I'm just trying to get into, like, I'm just trying to go back from where
Mhm.
I left off. I think people were
Yeah.
talking about your people on your team. So Zoe, she's an invaluable member of our team. God bless the day she decided to join. That's Mary Pascal shouting out Zoe, who's part of your team. Karim Bertrand say Tangel. I don't know what he's saying, Tangel. I see Karim putting NBD thing in my chat. Karim, tell NBD to sponsor my show. NBD has never sponsored my show, so don't put NBD links in my in my chat if they're not sponsoring the show. Bon. Back into the chat. Back into the chat. Clem,
Chat.
let's see. Clem has had, so Misty Burnaby Riviere is saying Clem has had to know, just had to know. LOL. So she said something about. I guess you were trying to say you do whatever you're set out. You really do go for whatever you want to. Sari's on. Um, Candy was actually trying to call me. She's saying she likes you. She really likes you.
Aww.
She likes how you speak and everything. Mary Pascal again saying follow. Who's Janton that bites you there? Oh lad. Okay, there's a lot of conversations going on in the.
The
Oh,
chat.
Karim
Yeah.
was saying for a credit card, you can apply at NBD. Karim, you know how hard it is to get an NBD credit card. Like, Karim, stop it. Karim, stop it. Well, they gotta love you. You're doing your work even after hours.
Alright.
Allison,
But it shouldn't be. I was gonna say it shouldn't be that hard though. But yeah, go ahead with the comments. It is okay. It's okay.
Allison, listen, I can get 10 credit cards from Canada before I get one from Dominica. That's how easy it is to get a credit card. Like, listen, like I
Yeah.
remember once I applied and they were telling me all of the things. Like, I swear you have to donate your heart and your kidney.
Oh
It feels
wow.
it feels like that. Who else? Who else is on there? Iola is saying good stuff. Alison Fervier is saying, I found Ottawa very racist. Miss, yeah, she's saying that. Yes, there's some provinces that there's a little bit of racism. They kind of sketch. Laura is saying that's her favorite show. Love you too, Laura. Thank you very much for always coming on and showing love. I love, 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 love every single one of you. Um, a lot of folks are really just sharing love and saying how much you inspire them. And I mean, you teach us that there's no reason to be lazy. like there's no reason to be lazy because there's so many things. Even when you were at your lowest of lows,
Mhm.
you were able to find ways and means to make money, legit ways, legal ways to make
Always.
money, and still keep your dignity and still be, be a really, a decent young woman, like we like to say in Dominican society. you know
Mhm.
um People are asking somebody to actually just message me, are you married, are you married, single, free, disengaged, that, all of that they ask in one. What is the single life, married life looking like for Clem?
I'm not married. I'm not married. But I will not expand on it further. I'm actually a very private person, though I'm public. Yeah, I'm a very private person, though I'm
She
public.
zipped
Yeah.
that up quick, fast, and in a hurry. She don't want only to know what she is. Listen, Clem, right now you're making the man feel a type of way if he's a man. Because if let me tell you, if it's Jovian calling me up and say, so you don't want to tell nobody that you have a man, like. But we do understand that you have to
Yeah.
keep. So there's some things that you
Mm,
have to keep private, especially when you're heavy on social media, and we have to respect that as people who are part of
yeah.
the community. We have to respect that. But she's not married, so that means the person that messaged me, there might be still hope for you. You never know. I want people to be in very committed relationships who uncommitted after meeting certain people, right? So you can still shoot your shoot. So they calling it try your luck. You can still.
Whatever the millionaires say these days.
Oh gosh. Of course. Somebody said translation. She's off the market. She not off the market until she married. As long as she not married, she on the market. She
Jael,
on the
Jael,
market. She on
Jael
the
is bringing that Caribbean energy.
right on in front of KFC there. You see right there on the market.
By the oranges,
She
by the
right
oranges
by
and
the
the pineapples,
oranges. She
by the
right
oranges
by
and the pineapples, they have the clementines.
Yes, the Clementine's right there. She on the market.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
It was really wonderful having you
Yeah.
on the show with me. I don't know if you have any final words, anything that you'd like to share with our
Yeah.
viewers, with our listeners.
Yes, definitely. I want to. One thing that she asked me is how I do it all, and I gave you my day in my life, what I do. But I also want to just give a big shout out to my team. Honestly, and Jael, I think you will echo these words as well. Like being an entrepreneur who does it all and has so many gifts is difficult. It's impossible. You need to build an army behind you, right? My army is strong. It's really really strong. I want to shout out my girls, Zoe Banis and Zioni George. Let me make a mistake on their names there. They calling me in the group meet in the team meeting as much as I'm their boss, but I cannot do that. They have really been like the strong, like a backbone of what we do, like in the media field, content creation, really powering our brands. And we've really loved, when I say we, I mean my sisters as well and we love like having them on board, like teaching them our ways. And so they are really important part of my team. We have a remote team as well, everywhere where we operate. So there are a lot of people who support us, but I really just wanted to shout them out, especially because I know that during difficult times, they really push through, like real soldiers. My mom has been at the core of a lot of the things that I do. She's like, like the shoulder that you can always lean on when like you feel like, yeah, I'm like, can I give up now? And they're like, no, don't give up. Like, oh yeah, go back again, stand up again, in the African accent. So I wanted to shout her out as well. And I also wanted to say like final words, and shout out to my friends also who are like really listening to my shenanigans and like my post, share, subscribe to my audience, the people who follow on every platform. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for giving me a reason to share more and to show you what a beautiful world we live in. And a final word to anyone, like the people who are listening, I just want to say that if you have multiple passions, if you have things that you really love doing, do not give up on your dreams. There's this quote that says, your dream is not what you think about when you sleep, but it's what keeps you awake. And Jael, I think you can echo that as well, because me, I like a lot of times I'm like, I can't sleep because I know I have to work on these dreams. So if you have a lot of dreams, do not count your dreams out. If you need money to invest in your dream, find another source of income. Find the resources legally, obviously. Find the resources, invest in your dreams, but do not give up, because they were given to you for a reason. And finally, if you want to go on the next journey of travel with Clem, make sure you follow me on all the social media platforms where you consume content, because I'm going to take you across Canada. And who knows, I might just make you book your next flight to Canada, because we're going to see what a beautiful country it is.
Hello, folks are in
Yeah.
the live. I want to encourage you to go back in the chat. People giving you tips.
Yes.
Taking the via rail from Vancouver to Toronto,
Yes.
list, all of the different things that you can do.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that you could come on. Go on there and you can respond. I know your sister has been there and she's been
Yes.
tagging everybody and letting everybody know where they can follow you, where they can find your work, where they can purchase things from your online store whenever people ask. But if you want to go back in and really share with the audience, I'll speak directly to certain folks who may have left messages specifically to you. Thank you very much for coming,
for having me.
Your schedule. This was long time coming. This is a long time coming, and I'm so excited that I've interviewed your sister. I had
wow, yeah, I remember.
Yes, which is a really nice showcase that we did. I've interviewed your sister countless times and never had the opportunity to connect with you in this way until now. And I'm very grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to be here. And I know everybody on the timeline is also very grateful. Thanks again, Clem.
Thank you for having me, and keep up the good work that you're doing, and then we're gonna stay in touch.
Of course. Oh my God, guys, it was a wonderful show. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, because I did. I don't know about you. I did. I enjoyed every single minute of it. Of course, I'm gonna be looking. I know Samaj is gonna be looking to see who are the winners of these 2 bottles of Red One. If you're looking for Red One products, you can also find them. They're available at Fresh Market upstairs in the health, beauty, and cosmetics. They're actually a lot cheaper than overseas. Let me tell you, the prices are a lot cheaper than overseas. Let me tell you, a Red One jam in Dominica, the big size is $10. The big size in Canada is $16. Okay, my brothers, 16 Canadian. All right, so check out Fresh Market for your Red One products, and somebody is going to be winning these tonight. We'll be announcing who the winner is, and we got another show for you guys next week, so stay tuned. Follow, like, subscribe, like on YouTube. Let me just big up the folks who are on YouTube. We had a few folks on YouTube. Nyla B was on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. Those of you on LinkedIn and X, thank you very much for locking in. I really truly appreciate you guys. We're gonna be back next week for another show. Stay tuned. I believe we have Annette Sanford is going to be coming up next week. So we're gonna have one of the Kalinago candidates, Kalinago chief candidates coming up next week. That's gonna be a big show. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. Make sure you guys love, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you all. Until next time. Toodaloo. Bye-bye. I just discovered the Red is bleaching powder available at Fresh Market HPC, and I'm about to test it to see if I get results that I love.
I was shocked, first of all, at how much that came in the package. I mean, the bottle was well clean. I got to mix it with the developer and applied it to my dark, natural roots all over. Sometimes I would miss a spot and I would have to get someone to guide me, but today I was on my own. I covered my head with a plastic bag, I set the timer, and I was surprised at how much it lifted in such a short space of time. So finally, I rinsed off my shampoo using the Reddish shampoo with keratin, and this is how it looked after. I did this process all over again the very next day, and this time after shampooing, I used the Reddish hair mask. It has deep conditioning properties. It leaves your hair feeling soft to the texture. I did miss a few spots, but the results were very good.